You must be Irene.
Yep.
Hey, take a seat right here.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm Annette, and I am your occupational therapy assistant, and I am just going to be asking you some questions to get to know you a little better. So the first thing I want to know is it all right if I take some notes?
Sure.
So what brings you here today?
Well, I came here a couple days ago because I've been having trouble just with everything in my life that's happened after the accident, and it's not going well for me right now, so.
I'm sorry to hear that. Must be difficult.
Yeah, it's been hard.
Okay. Do you know what occupational therapy is?
No, I don't. I have no idea.
That's okay. Not many people do. In fact, I didn't when I first started doing this. Occupational therapy is basically what happens in your whole life. And what I'm going to do is try to figure out what it is that's like roadblocks that are getting you or stopping you from doing the things that you would do normally if you weren't in the state you're in right now. Okay, so that's the purpose of what I'm going to be trying to figure out while we're talking today. All right. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Well, I'm 19. I was going to college to be in business management. I was a sophomore. I am an assistant manager at a pharmacy. Just everything after the accident's been really hard. My life's kind of been turned upside down. Nothing has been the same since the accident, so.
Would you care to talk about that at all, the accident?
I can try. Well, I was at work and I got off around like 1:30 in the morning, and I went to get something to eat after work, and as I was driving home on my street, I could see smoke and flames shooting out of a house, and I drove down a little further, and there was fire engines all up and down the street, and I got closer and I saw it was my house, and all I can really remember is that I knew that my two younger brothers, my mom, were still in there, and I didn't know what was going on, and that's all I can really say. Everything else is just a blur.
Well, that's understandable after that. And how have you been since? I mean, I know you said you were.
It's really hard. I mean, now I live with my aunt and my uncle. My two younger brothers and my mom did make it. Just nothing has been the same. My life before then and now is just completely turned around.
So what kind of things did you do previous? And the things that you're really noticing that you're not doing now?
Well, friend-wise, I used to hang out with friends all the time. I had a really strong bond with a couple of them, and every time they ask me since the accident if I want to hang out or do anything with them, I just tell them no, because I just can't. I don't have that will anymore to want to do it, to want to hang out with anyone.
I understand that. It is definitely something that needs to be thought about, because as you're not spending time with those friends, you're also, kind of being alone with this kind of pain and the kind of traumatic thing is not helping, So maybe we should look at some smaller groups or some larger groups with maybe, 8 to 10 people in it, or are you more comfortable with a smaller group of people?
Well, actually, I really like being alone. I don't like groups at all. It's hard for me to be with a bunch of other people at this point, and I just would rather be alone. I like to isolate myself.
Yeah, and that's pretty typical. I would think after, something like that. But what I'm suggesting is that when I'm gathering all your information here today, I'm thinking about what kind of smaller groups I can I can have you participate in, because you are, going to need to start moving ahead and forward and to getting more used to being around people again as we work through the things that have happened. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start out small. It isn't going to be a big transition, but it will help you to regain that confidence that you had when you spent time with your friends and went out and did things before the accident. So do you understand where I'm coming from on those? All right. Let me just ask you a couple things. Previous to the accident, were you, so you said you came home, so I'm assuming you lived there with your mom and your brothers?
Right.
Okay. And you had a very close bond,
Yes.
would you say?
Yes.
Very close with them? I was getting that from you. And so, what other things besides friends are you missing? Do you feel is missing?
Well, besides friends, just I really enjoyed where I worked. I was an assistant manager and I worked really hard to become that. And I liked working at the pharmacy. I liked being able to help people, and it was a really good environment to work at. And school was hard for me to stop too because I was doing so well, and then just everything, like I said, just came to a halt when the accident happened.
So you were pretty, would it be accurate to say you were a pretty busy person?
Yeah.
You had
I had
a
a
lot of
lot-
different roles and
yeah.
things that you did.
Yeah.
So you were a responsible person, and now you're not as not in those roles anymore. So maybe that's something you need to look at too, is getting you back feeling confident enough to be in those roles too, not just as a friend, but as a worker, and also in the other roles in your life. So we will address that more in depth as we continue to meet and as you go through groups. What's your routine like? What gets you up in the morning and makes you want to get up?
Well, I used to enjoy life a lot. Like I would get up knowing that today is gonna be a good day, and work's gonna be good, or school's gonna be fun, or I'm gonna meet new people. But now it's just like, why should I even get up anymore? I mean, my family's gone, and I don't have a social life. I don't have anything left. It's just,
So you just get up to get up today.
yeah.
Well, that's understandable. So we're gonna work on that. Okay. We're gonna work on that. That'll come, but it's definitely not gonna come overnight. What do you do to relax, or what did you do to relax after all that stressful day that you would
Sleep.
have? Sleeping.
Sleep all the time.
Now or
Well, I really didn't have that much time to sleep before because I was just so busy, but now really I just sleep all the time.
Well, I have to commend you for noticing that you needed some help and for seeking that out, because that is huge. And I'm glad that you see that. And so I think there's a lot to work with here. You haven't given up on yourself, and that's very good. So to what extent do you feel, if you had to rate this on a 1 to 10, 1 being the least and 10 being the most, what do you feel that your sadness and grief, what do you think that's on the 1 to 10 scale? How much do you think that's inhibiting your daily life?
And you said 1 was the most?
Yeah, 1 was the most.
Probably a 2.
We'll say
Probably a 2.
2. So pretty consuming.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't have a lot of energy. I'm taking it.
No, it's just really hard. It's hard to get me motivated to do anything now.
Mhm.
Just the sleeping a lot.
So sleeping. Did you have a hobby or a craft? Is there something you really enjoyed doing outside of your, normal professional and household roles?
Well, I liked sports.
What kind of sports did you do?
Swimming and a little bit of tennis, but that wasn't like serious. The swimming was more serious.
Swimming is a good exercise. It's good for a lot of different things, for your physical and for your mental. It
I
can be
haven't
relaxing.
really got to do a lot of swimming after the accident, which I miss a lot actually.
So maybe that can be one thing we can look at. Do you have any, besides swimming, is there any hobbies or crafts that you like to do? Is there any games you played for leisure?
I really liked playing games like Scrabble and stuff that you have to make up words for. I don't know, I was pretty creative when I was playing those games.
Yeah. Okay. And in your job, I know you were talking you really loved your work. What exactly did you do?
Well, assistant manager, I was in charge. We had about 10 other employees in the pharmacy. I was just in charge of sales and customer service if anything went wrong or just.
So you're more of a people person.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's real nice. That's a good quality to have. So those areas that you've talked about as concerns, those are big areas. So it's good that we had talked about them a little bit today. But what we're going to do moving forward is I'll meet with you again next week, and we'll discuss further into maybe I'll come up with some ideas here on what I think would be appropriate, and what I think after we talk, what I think we're going to do, and I'll see what you think, and we'll come up with something together to see if we can get you moving forward a little bit.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sure.
Well, that's all I have for you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Let me show you down the hall.
Thank you.